Welcome to the Good Rookie Show. My name is Fahim.
And my name is Nellie J, y'all. And we are Good Rookie.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's the Good Rookie Show. Yep. What's going on, everybody? As you know, we're your hosts coming to you from Toronto, Canada, the 6th. You know what I'm saying? And we always bring to you guys the hottest topics in sports and culture. And this week is no different. But folks, I have a trivia question for Fahim. I don't think he'll get it because I didn't know. And most of y'all probably don't know. But I thought it'd be a really good kind of like nugget for us to start off this episode for Fahim. So it was announced for him this week. For him, like, what? This week for him, it was announced that LeBron James is 2,004 points away from scoring the most points in basketball history for him.
Wow.
Globally. Yeah. So, who do you think, Fahim, has the most points in basketball history ever globally? Now, this is something I was not aware of. You know what I'm saying? Big up to @Hooper on Instagram, dropping the nugget. Well, who do you think, Fahim? Because I didn't know, but it's good for us to kind of.
Yeah, I think this might be a trick question. He's from Brazil. Is it Oscar?
Yeah, see?
No, the last name, I don't know if it's Oscar Schmidt.
Yes, Fahim.
Oscar.
Bingo. See, guys, this is why. Listen, good. Congrats, Fahim. You're right. Oscar Schmidt.
Oscar Schmidt, yeah.
Has the record held for most basketball points in history globally, with 49,737. So LeBron is 2,004 away. So he's obviously 47,000, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say the whole number. But I think that's pretty cool. So for him to get to that, someone said he has to have 80 games, 25 points per game. That's what he needs to get to that for him. Now, will LeBron play 80 games? Maybe with the Olympics. Remember, it's basketball. So it's Olympics. If he plays for the Olympics next year, and he plays NBA, hopefully combined, he can make 80 points, 80 games plus playoffs, right? The Lakers, I think, should be in the playoffs as well. So yeah, guys, he could be he can literally break this record for him in his upcoming season. So I just want to kind of bring you that nugget. Any thoughts on this record that he might break?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, big up to Oscar Schmidt. The reason why I knew this is, I mean, back in was it the 80s? Maybe that might be his era, but he's somebody who could have if he came to the NBA maybe a little bit earlier, or he did end up coming. Yeah. But in his prime, what was kind of buzzing around was there's this guy from Brazil who's a baller, and if he were to come, he could do damage in the NBA. I guess I don't know too much about the story, but maybe later it is late and he decided he didn't want to come. But I do know that in the Olympics, he was tearing up the Olympics. So, anyway, shout out to Oscar. Now, in regards to LeBron, wow, that's an amazing feat. Especially, is this season 21 or is this season 20?
21. Yep.
Season 21. So you're right. Maybe he's not going to play 80 games. But there's a possibility that, like you said, there's the Olympics. He can pick up some points. I don't know. Does preseason
and the playoffs too? All combined to 80 games, right?
He hasn't played. Well, maybe he might play preseason.
Plus the midseason tournament. There's a potential for him to play in 80. At least he should be able to play 80 games in the next 12 months. Like that's not a hard feat, I would think.
Now,
2,000. I mean, that's averaging 25 points per game. He might average 30, and that drops to 80 to less games than that, right? But if he can average 25 plus, plays about 80 games, that record is broken. And LeBron will be known as holding the record for most points in basketball history.
Wow,
not just NBA basketball.
That's crazy. But it's
funny without going to college. He didn't go to college, right? So yeah. So
it's funny. I was just gonna bring up like a hater type situation where people are always trying to find holes and so I never thought of that, but you're right. He didn't go to college, so people can be like, oh well, you know what? He had maybe 2 or 3 extra years because guys were in college and he didn't get those years. I was also thinking because of the fact that he's 21 years deep in, people might hold that against him and be like, oh well, you know what? It took him 21 or 22 years to do it. You know what I'm saying? So But shout out to LeBron James.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, let's see if we can break it. I think he can. So, anyways.
I think so. I think so. Now, DJ, talk to me. The blockbuster three-team deal involving Damian Lillard. Let me just throw out who's involved, and we can kind of backtrack into our thoughts. All right. First of all, Damian Lillard finally leaves Portland. Now he's a Milwaukee Buck. The Trailblazers, three-team deal. So the Trailblazers got DeAndre Ayton, Toumani Camara, Drew Holiday, a first-round pick from the Bucks, and two first-round swaps for the Bucks. So pretty much three first-rounders, Drew Holiday, and DeAndre Ayton from the Suns. That's what the Blazers got in return from Dame. Wow. And the Suns involved in this, they get Grayson Allen from the Bucks, and then they get Keon Johnson, Nasir Little, and Yusuf Nurkic from the Blazers. So just to summarize this real quick, it looks like Bucks get Dame, big. Blazers get Ayton, Drew Holiday, and 3 picks, which is big.
And Kamara. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then, okay, yeah. I guess we'll say Kamara. To me, he's kind of a throw-in, though. I don't think
I know.
I'm
I'm just trying to be honest. Yeah, no worries. He's a throw-in.
And the Suns get Nurkic and Grayson Allen. Yeah, your thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay, so when I first heard it, first of all, Fahim, I thank the Lord. Okay. I was so tired. I was so tired of hearing Damian Lillard on my timeline. Raptors fans belly aching, okay, hoping we get it was just so much, right? And I want to address my fellow Raptor fans. I tweeted about it, but let's talk about this trade first. So I thought if I'm Damian Lillard, if I can go to the Miami Heat where I want to go, this is the next best thing. I'm playing with Giannis, a superstar, a 2-time MVP, a generational talent, right? He's just a fun guy. People like playing with him. You know what I mean? People talk about how when Giannis was the NBA All-Star captain, he picked him at the first round. You don't pick a guard for your first pick, right? In the All-Star game, but he did pick Dame. So clearly there's some friendship, there's some camaraderie there. AJ Griffin, right? Brand new coach, black coach at, in Milwaukee. New regime is there, right? I think if I'm Dame, I'm in a good situation. AJ, I've heard of him. I've heard that he's a good coach. Players like playing with him. Players like him, and we all know that Giannis said he will be leaving the Bucks if they don't change things up. And Fahim, I think the Bucks, what they gave Portland, I thought it was the best thing. They gave them 3 first-round picks, 3 plus 3 players. If that's what we had to give up to get Dame, and we would have still been a second-round exit, Fahim, I don't think it, to me, Fahim, as a Raptor fan, it's not worth it, right? I don't think it's worth it to get Dame to be a second-round exit. We're not contenders with Dame, in my opinion, Fahim. I'm sorry, okay? We're not. But I'm really happy though for Dame. I'm happy for Giannis. This could be what the Bucks had to do to make him maybe sign that extension, maybe, right? We'll see how the season goes. Drew Holiday, I think, and Ayton, Fahim, we all know the Suns weren't happy with his performance. He pretty much benched himself, right, against Denver because Jokic was mashing up the man upon the court, right? Chris Paul got down, and it was a Booker KD show, right? Ayton was just there. So him leaving, I think that's best for the Suns. And I think Drew Holiday, it sucks for him because I think he was just added because they're like, yo, we got to get a piece from him. And I don't know for him, but the Blazers are trying to trade him right now. So
he will be moving. Holiday?
Yes. So yes, they plan to trade him. Fahim, they're looking for picks. They're like, think of the OKC Fahim, right? Of 3 years ago, right? Just trying to, collect all the Infinity Stones. You know what I mean? At this point, the picks. So Drew Holiday will be moving. The question is, where will he go? People are saying OKC, Boston, blah, 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 Miami, I'm hearing everything, Lakers. So he'll be moving from there. Wow. And then for the Suns, right? The Suns wanted a center in return. Nurkic, I think Nurkic is a good center. He's always hurt, but he's someone that can play big, right? And he can actually play inside. Grayson Allen, defender, right? Everyone knows what he can do. National Keon Johnson. So I think everyone everyone benefited and everyone got what they needed in terms of what they're looking for, right? So yeah, I think the 3-team trade makes sense. Now, my other opinion was to Raptor fans who I've been talking to on Twitter. I love you guys, but you can't take everything you hear from a source and just think it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the Raptors coach said a lot of these rumors aren't true. Right? People think Fahim Masai didn't care. He didn't put his best forward. I'm sorry, guys. At the end of the day, a deal is only made if every single party, Fahim, agrees to it. And if every single party wins, right? If I'm Portland, Fahim, right? And I have a Damian Lillard, Fahim, I'm not trying to screw him over. The guy gave us how many years of his time, right? So I want him to go somewhere where he's happy, but I also want to benefit. And I think, Fahim, respectfully, if I'm Damian Lillard, I said it very frankly, and I got to pick the play between Siakam and Scotty Barnes and Giannis and Brook Lopez, I'm picking Giannis. Period. Okay? Like, it's not even a question asked. I'm picking Giannis. So I just think at the end of the day, people think just because, yes, Masai could give it a great deal, but still, Dame has a choice. You can tell Fahim, Portland did not want to just trade him anywhere and say, bun you. You know what I'm saying, Fahim? They want him to go somewhere where he can contend. And Bucks are contenders. We're not contenders. We haven't been contenders for the last 3 years. So I just think that they got into a team that's contending for a championship. And I think that's the best team for him. Toronto was not. So, and again, I'm talking as an objective fan. Yes, I would like to have him here. I would love to have him traded here. But I'm thinking about if I'm Damian Lillard, it's not about the city and where I'm going. He was in Portland for Christ's sakes. You know what I'm saying? For how many years? Like, if he can play in Portland, Fahim, he can play anywhere, respectfully. So at the end of the day, Fahim, I thought everyone benefited. I don't see anything gaps. I think the Suns had to do something more because Ayton wasn't happy. He was aching, essentially. So yeah, big blockbuster trade. I'm happy it's done for him because honestly, for 4 months in Miami, Damian Lillard, I think the NBA fined Miami. Like, oh my God, he was so much. No, they fined Damian Lillard for speaking up, saying you know what I mean? Like, so much drama and saga. I'm just happy it's now to rest. But for him, it's not done yet because there's one more person that needs to be traded and who's also belly aching, which is James Harden. So I wonder where he's gonna go. I think that trade will happen prior to the season starts as well. But yeah, he's the one for him. I don't want to talk about James Harden being traded, but he's the last person that I think will be traded before, and then dust will settle. But I think for sure, if I'm Philadelphia, I want him out my locker room. Fahim, out, like Damian Lillard. So, but Fahim, what was your thoughts though when you heard the trade? Were you shocked? It was Milwaukee Bucks. I think we heard a lot of rumors about Miami, about everyone but the Bucks. Like, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, we all heard about Miami. I heard Toronto was in the mix. The more I was hearing these reports about Toronto was a front runner, the less I started to believe it, because that's just how it works here with the Toronto Raptors. Now, Dame being in Milwaukee, you have, I think, one of the can't think of a better big three in the Eastern Conference. Dame, Giannis, and Chris Middleton. Those three are. I mean, even without Dame, even with Jrue Holiday, they are still a contender. Yes, they're off last year, but I'm hearing Dame, he's a little injury prone, which is fair. I mean, he's been injured the last 2 years on and off, but I'd rather 85% Dame Lillard opposed to maybe 100% Jrue Holiday. There's just things that Dame brings. I think they're dangerous. I really do. I'm a believer that it almost feels very right though. Dame's played in his whole NBA career in a small market such as Portland. Maybe he wanted Miami. It could be the weather, could be the organization.
Could be Bam.
Sorry?
Bam, his friend. Bam Adebayo. Yeah, they're good
I
friends.
didn't even know that. Is that
yeah, they're really good friends. That's why he wanted to play there because he wanted to play with Bam. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So but going to Milwaukee, which is another small market like he's used to, but he hasn't played with this kind of talent before. And I think those two it's going to be exciting, very exciting. And you know what? I'm kind of rooting for Dame because he's one of those people in our generation that he's played the game the right way. He kept it loyal to an organization. He didn't force his way out of a trade as much as he's leaked things. He's given the team more than enough opportunities to make adjustments. So, I mean, yeah, Dame. Who's the two guard there now? It's going to be Dame. I don't know who
Yeah,
the two
so
guard.
that's the thing. So I've been seeing lots of potential starting lineups. They've had Pat Connaughton.
Connaughton, right?
They've had they had
I think.
adding Bobby Portis to the starting lineup. So having a big
Okay.
man, so it'll be 5, Brooke 4, Giannis, Bobby Portis play the 4, Giannis 2 to 3. And then everyone goes 2-1 with Middleton, and Dame as points. So pretty much Middleton play the two guard, or him play the 3 with Giannis and Bobby off the bench with Pat Connaughton. If I'm Bucks, I want to keep Bobby off the bench. I mean, on the bench. I think Bobby is a great reliever of Giannis and stuff like that. So, and I think he does something a bit different. So I would try to keep that. But again, it's not done for him. There's quite a few guys that are still free agents that they can sign that can be fillers that Fahim may like, you know what? I want to play with this team because look what they got. A lot of guys haven't been signed yet. So now the hold up. Do I want to play off the bench for a team that has Dame, Giannis, Middleton? I can be a great reliever, and I'll make it, and I may want to win a championship. So this is a really winning situation. I'm happy for Dame, happy for AJ Griffin, past Toronto Raptor coach. Someone I know is also coaching on there as well. He was a Raptor coach, now he's assistant coach there. So it's going to be great for him. I cannot wait because that will be a fun team to watch. To your point, even without Dame, they were contenders. Now with Dame, they're still contenders. And to think Raptors fans think that just because we wanted him, that he would have just came here. No, guys, like it's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? So he has to come. He has to want to come here as much as we want him here. It's not just besides as a trade automatically. And I think people think because of OG Anunoby, come on, guys. Even with OG, okay, it's not enough to say okay, bum. No, getting rid of OG and adding Dame to our team, we're not contenders. We're not as good as Milwaukee Bucks. So no. Again, I'm happy for all parties. I think Suns got rid of a problem. Portland got rid of a problem. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the third team who was what third team again? Portland Suns. Yeah, Portland Suns, Milwaukee. All three had issues and problems and had to make changes. So in
your eyes, Nelly J, who's the better center? Ayton or Nurkic?
Ayton.
No, sorry, Ayton.
Ayton, yeah, Ayton's better. Yeah. No, Ayton's better. Like he was for him number one. Like what was it? Number one draft pick?
I think he was number one.
Yeah, Ayton's better. You know what I'm saying? He's better than Nurkic, for sure. Right. The issue why they traded him is because none of his talent is because of the off court stuff. That's all that was. I
understand, but that's what I'm wondering. That's what I was thinking with this trade. I have a feeling that if there was a loser in this 3-way deal, I have a feeling it was Phoenix, because I don't think Phoenix put themselves any better in this. Maybe they bolstered their bench by having Grayson Allen because they really didn't have a lot of depth.
I think Grayson Allen's huge because for him, they had no defense. Remember, like they were just trying to outscore teams, especially that Clippers and Denver. They couldn't stop anyone. They could not stop anyone. You know what I'm saying? They only won because literally, Devin Booker and KD was like averaging like 78 from the field and crazy stuff like that. But I think Grayson Allen brings defense that they don't have any defenders. And in the West, you need to have some defenders. I'm surprised for him. They didn't go after Drew Holiday, but I don't think they could afford him. He's $37 million, I heard. But yeah, I think they're making change. But to your point, yes, Nurkic to me is a downgrade. But maybe Nurkic could play better off ball. I think Ayton likes to have the ball or be more involved in the offense. And Chris Paul did that for him. Chris Paul not being there, who's giving him the ball? Not Devin Booker, not KD. You know what I'm saying? Those guys in the ball in their hand. And then Bradley Beal, he's also a give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? So you have 3 guys who need balls. 3 guys who need the ball in their hand. Gosh. Or woo. But 3 players that need the balls in their hand, or the ball in their hand, right, to be impactful. and A will be there just watching them play. I think Nurkic can play better in that situation. Because I mean, it's hard to be a big and not be involved in the offense, right? Not every big can do that. So anyway.
All right, yeah. So shout out to Milwaukee. They did what they needed to do. It's kind of funny that just a few weeks ago, Giannis was saying that he's not making any commitments to Milwaukee until, and he's not dealing with the extension until, he gets an idea of where the good direction they're going. You don't get much bigger than putting on Dame on the offseason and still keeping your team intact. They managed to add Dame without blowing it up. So shout out to Milwaukee, their management, and their commitment to keeping the superstar.
Yep, agreed.
So give me a quick prediction. Milwaukee.
Oh,
they were already a contender. You think first? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, first in the Eastern Conference. They're first last year. I don't think that's going to change with Dame.
Right. Yeah.
They'll be first this year. Yeah.
What's the?
But I mean, Boston is close second, man. Those two are they're in their own tier now. Those two, everyone else is just. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But 1 and 2, Boston, Milwaukee, either or. Those two, they're the best two teams in the Eastern Conference for sure.
Okay. All right. All right, Nelly J. Let's go for the culture.
For the culture, we like to highlight individuals for the culture. And today we get to highlight, y'all, someone who made history in September, right? This is going to come out in October. So we're a few weeks late for him. But Anthony Nesty, okay, made history when he was announced and picked for him as the lead U.S. men's swimming team in Paris. He'll become for him the first Black head coach ever for the American Olympic squad for swimming. Woo! Now, for those who don't know who Anthony Nesty is, first of all, man's from Trinidad, okay? Born in Porto, Spain, where I was born. Hello. And he was actually for him the first Black swimmer, okay, back in 1988 to win an Olympic gold medal.
Wow.
Right. And was also the first Olympic medalist for Suriname. So Suriname, for those who don't know, it's a country beside Guyana. It's in South America, but it's also considered to be in the Caribbean. Okay. So he was born in Trinidad. Family went to Suriname, got into swimming for him. And for him, for him, Black people in swimming is not back, especially back in the day for him. We weren't competing in swimming, but he won. First Black swimmer ever to win an Olympic medal, gold medal. And he was first medalist for his country as well in 1988. You know what I'm saying? Now, fast forward. Oh, sorry. His competition was 100 butterfly. Was his expertise, right? But yeah, I think it's dope because he went from that as a butterfly specialist, medalist, born in Trinidad, a Caribbean, background. Has a gold and bronze as a Black male swimmer, competed years ago, and fast forward for him, he's now the first Black head coach for him, U.S. Olympic swimming team, which everyone knows for him. In swimming and Olympics, it's always between USA, Australia, China, Japan, there's Netherlands, right? There's so many great swimming like countries, right? And USA is one of them. So I wanted to big him up because I don't think people really knew about him, know his past, what he's done. But I think this is historic for the culture because, a lot of folks that are people of color around the world aren't really big swimmers, right? So I hope having him in the front coaching for him, we might see some more people of color swimming in the future, right? Or coaching. So big up to you, Anthony Nesty. Big up to my fellow Trini. Fee, what was your thoughts when you heard about what he's done and the fact that he's been named the head coach?
So has a Black man ever won a medal outside of him? Is he the first Black man to ever medal?
He was the first one to medal in 1988. There has been some afterwards, but he was the first one.
But he was the first one. He got his in 88. He was the first ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice to see. We just last week talked about in golf, just how Black people are now making the waves in golf. Swimming is just not one that I saw Many people from the islands surrounded by water. You'd be shocked the amount of people that say, hey, I can't swim, right? So the stereotype that can be broken there,
Mm-hmm.
And another thing in regards to swimming, I didn't really take into account that usually, like with Team USA or any country, you'd assume you'd have to be. It's not like, for instance, soccer, where you have a coach from another country come in and coach your team. I didn't know that swimming had that, where you kind of recruit coaches from regardless of where they are in the globe and coach for you, right? So the fact that he's doing Team USA, like you'd mentioned, there's Australia, there's the big heavyweights in the Olympics. Just the fact that he's coaching for Team USA, and that's men's and women's. How does the coaching go for?
Yeah, so everyone, he's the head of swimming for the Olympic team for America. Keep in mind, for him, right? After he won his gold medal in Seoul, you know how America. So what happened is that he got a scholarship to attend University of Florida, right? Okay. And he had a very successful career swimming for that team, Florida Gators. And so he was there from 89 to 92. Okay. He also competed in NCAA. He won 3 consecutive NCAA individual championships in the 100 butterfly from 1990, 91, 92, and won the 200 yard in 1990. Okay. So he was also part of the 400 yard medley relay team and received 16 All-American honors. So him going to school in America, he could have stayed here. From what I'm seeing, he stayed here and he coached as well in the States. And I'm assuming he probably got his, his American citizenship, right? So, but for him, by swimming, he won the gold medal first, got all of that accolade, that attention, and then his family got to the States where he was swimming. So no one knew who he was until he won that gold medal in Seoul in Korea back in 1988. Wow. So yeah. Wow. Really interesting. Like Fahim, I didn't even know, because I remember Simone Manuel. Remember she won 100 meter freestyle. I remember this in Olympics. She was fast. Remember that race? Boom, boom, boom. I think Penny won a medal. Was that the same one? I don't know, but don't quote me, guys. But I know Simone was the first African-American woman to win a medal. And that was, and Fahim, that was like years. I think that was in 20, they say here, let me look it up. When she won, it was in 2016 in Rio, in Brazil, Fahim. When she won her first. Yeah, she won 2 gold medals. She won 2 gold and 2 silvers. 100 meter freestyle. I remember that one. The 4x100 medley. 50 meter freestyle. I remember that. Yeah, she was fast for him. I remember that Olympic race. I was watching that live. So, but yeah, for him, there's not that many. There isn't. So,
yeah. So we got to celebrate the ones that are, and especially now he's gonna doesn't just inspire in the pool, but now on the sidelines of the pool. It's going to be great just to, especially after the Olympics, when it happens. I know it's going to be a story, and you're right, on the biggest stage. Shout out.
Big up Anthony Nesty. That's why you're from the culture.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Nelly J, let's wrap it up with That's Absurd.
That's absurd. Fahim, bro, what was absurd this week? What was absurd?
This is a movie where you could pick your own ending.
Not really.
Not really.
I don't think I know one. I don't think I know one. Do you know one?
Yeah. There's something that you could pick your own ending. I just feel like this absurd is going to be kind of in that lane where it might be absurd to some people, and maybe some people, maybe it's not absurd. Take your pick. Steph Curry was on a podcast, Gilbert Arenas' podcast, to which he claimed he is the GOAT point guard, so the greatest point guard of all time. To which Magic Johnson was asked on another podcast about what Steph Curry had said. And Magic Johnson went through his accolades and politely and eloquently disputed that. I'm going to read what Magic Johnson did, his response to what Steph's claim. He says, if Curry's got more than 5 championships, more than 3 finals MVPs, 3 league MVPs, #1 assist all time, in the finals, number 2 in doubles, number 1 in triple doubles, number 4 in steals, all time in the playoffs. If he's got more than those numbers, he's the best. But last time I checked, he doesn't. I happen to be with Magic Johnson on this one. Absurd.
Absurd. So, first of all, what I find absurd isn't Steph Curry calling himself a point guard or proclaiming he's the best. Because I think, Fahim, when you are playing at that level, right, and you have won championships, I think, Fahim, I think every NBA player in their mind think they're the best in their position, right? Let's be real, which is good, right? That's cool. So I'm not knocking Steph for, speaking on himself. And I think, for his fans and for those who believe that, cool, good for y'all. Right. However, Nelly J, in my opinion, if you are not even top 25 for assists all time and you call yourself a point guard, yeah, awkward. Fahim, awkward. So Fahim, I want to name you the top 10 all time. You know what? Top 15 all time assist leaders. Okay. So let's go through this list, Fahim. I think this is gonna, Fahim, I don't want to say much, but so here's what point guards do, y'all. Okay, they assist, they facilitate, they create plays, right? Play creation. Yeah. So number 1, John Stockton, point guard. Jason Kidd, point guard. Chris Paul, point guard. Now, Fahim, right? That was 1 through 3. Now, number 4, and Fahim, my hot take is that this guy, not called a point guard, but he's been more of a point guard than Steph Curry. Yes, I said it out loud. LeBron James, number 4. Number 5, Steve Nash. 6, Mark Jackson. 7, Magic Johnson. 8, Oscar Robertson. 9, Russell Westbrook. Yes, the one people call, he hogs the ball. He never passes the ball. He's number 9, y'all. Number 10, Isaiah Thomas. 11, Gary Payton. 12, Andre Miller. 13, Rod Strickland. 14, Rajon Rondo. And 15, Fahim, Maurice Cheeks. Now, Fahim, I listed the top 10 assist leaders of all time. Okay. These guys are all known, Fahim, to facilitate, get other players involved, right? Pass the ball, understand what spots to give their fellow teammates, right? To be impactful, right? To help win. Yeah. So, Fahim, in my opinion, I'm not calling you a point guard or GOAT of point guards if we're not even on this list. Mm-hmm. And Magic Johnson is. So, I mean, we can talk about it in circles and circles. Steph Curry fans are never going to, listen to reason, which is fine, right? Because all Steph Curry fans, they love him. And again, no one's thinking that he's not a great player. The question is he the greatest point guard? Not player, point guard, right? And Fahim, we spoke about before about, because someone has, PF or C or whatever beside their name, it doesn't supersede what they do on the court. You know what I'm saying? And LeBron James was a center a couple of games this year. We've seen other guys play center or forwards or point guards, but it doesn't mean for him that's exactly what they do. So I'm going to side with Magic. Now, Magic, of course, he had to throw in the accolades and all that stuff, and that's cool. Magic should also, Fahim, pump his chest up. You know what I'm saying? He's Magic Johnson, damn it, right? But I have to say, between Magic and Steph, who is a better point guard, not player, point guard, going Magic, period. Mm-hmm. So what's absurd is that I think a lot of fans, they supersede who they like, Fahim, over what the argument is, which is point guard, and not who's a better player, who's a better shooter, who do we like more, you know what I mean? Who's maybe it's a preference, right? Again, Fahim, it's all preferences. But when it comes to point guard, that's a definition defined in the dictionary. If they ain't doing that, they ain't a point guard. And to me, Fahim, I think Steph Curry can play point guard. I think he can do it, but I think he hasn't. And I think he's most impactful off the ball than with the ball in his hand. That's why he is a great shooter, and so forth. So nonetheless, Fahim, again, Kyle Lowry has more assists than Stephen Curry. Kyle Lowry.
Are you serious?
He's 24 of all time. 24th of all time. Kyle Lowry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Tony Parker, Terry Porter, Bob Cousy, James Harden, Deron Williams, Muggsy Bogues, all point guards. You got it, Fahim.
With more assists than Steph Curry?
Yes.
Muggsy Bogues has more assists? Wow. Okay. I'm gonna land there. I'm not gonna touch it. I could have went in, but then it's just gonna seem like I'm hating on Steph Curry.
No, again, Steph's amazing. Amazing player.
Steph, I mean, Nelly J, you the way you broke down how Steph ranks the point guard rankings, that's enough. I think. Case closed. Absurd. But you know what? One thing I do give Steph is he is humble, you know, and sometimes, especially when in these podcasts, conversations happen, and you know it's very candid, right? So I mean, I'm not taking it as, you know, anything he's like bigging up his chest too much or being cocky. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just in the context of conversation. But I think for him to say that he thinks he's a better point guard than Magic Johnson, I'm landing with absolutely absurd.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Fahim, is something. It is what it is, right? And again, the discussion is greatest point guard. So Steph Curry fans, I don't want no hate mail, I don't want no hate comments or back channels. I think he's a great player, but not the greatest point guard. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
Y'all, that was the Good Rookie Show. So y'all, first of all, thanks again for checking us out, listening into the Good Rookies podcast. I do want to do a shout out. And Fahim, we kind of spoke about this briefly. I mentioned this before. I think it has been a conversation or passing. But League One Volleyball is the first professional full season volleyball league in the U.S. And it has raised $35 million in funding. We spoke about where that Nebraska had the most ever attended volleyball game, right? They had the game in there. And we spoke about, are they volleyball league? Well, you know, that was historic what they did. And they're trying to fund this League One volleyball. Now, who has helped raise or invest? We got folks like Kevin Durant, Candace Parker, Jason Tatum, to name a few players who are funding currently for him this first professional full season volleyball league in the States. And you know, Fahim, Kevin Durant was part of MLS team. He's funding pickleball, now volleyball. I'm liking what he's doing. Kevin Durant is really putting money towards sports, funding it, but it says that this is supposed to launch next year after the Summer Olympic Games in Paris. And the preseason will begin in November 2024. So loving this. Yeah.
A question with the shout out here. First of all, I didn't know about KD and being behind this volleyball. Can you real quick explain this? Once again, wheel it back, because I didn't know this. This is news to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, so League One Volleyball will be the first professional full season volleyball league in the U.S. And they've raised $35 million in funding. Right. Amongst those investors are people like Jason Tatum, Candace Parker, Kevin Durant, and so forth.
Wow. So athletes. Now, so shout out to that. Also, timing couldn't be better for this, because if there's any time that volleyball is going to be at a height, it's the Olympics, right? So just for them to launch this after the Olympics, perhaps there might be something in volleyball, maybe even just having this league open while the Olympics is happening. They can advertise for that for people who are casually just watching volleyball or hearing about who wins the medals for volleyball. That could then transition into after the Olympics to this league. So you never know. And I think this is why we brought this up weeks prior about the one we talked about Nebraska, and it was something about we were talking that maybe I threw it out, but I was wondering if a volleyball league was even viable. You know, I think I got my answer now, and we'll see.
Yeah, you're right, because I was kind of like, I'm like, who's gonna fund it, right? But if they're launching it right after the Olympics, oh my gosh! So I was happily wrong about this, because I didn't think, especially in Canada, I know we have it, but it has never worked out. But now having those kind of big names behind it, maybe it's all it needed to get that recognition. And volleyball is fun. I play volleyball. You know, I'm pretty good at it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But no, love the sport. Big up to everyone investing in it. Can't wait to watch. I love volleyball in the Olympics. I love watching it. So it should be fun. But yeah, that's my shout out, y'all.
Nice. Nice. I'm gonna land with that. It's a great shout out, Nelly J.
No problem.
Let's put this episode in the books.
All right, y'all. This is the Good Rookie Show.
Yep.
So if you had a good time and you enjoyed yourself, please like and subscribe and tell friends to tell a friend. Fahim.
We're on all platforms if you're looking for us. You know what it is. That's the Good Rookie Show. And we out.
Peace.